Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. Welcome to a very empty Molineux Stadium, a very quiet Molineux Stadium. All I can hear are the sound of the lawnmowers drifting across the early evening sky here in the Midlands. So about 20 minutes ago, it definitely was loud in here, and it was the sound of the Arsenal away fans celebrating a really crucial and hard-fought win thanks to Ricardo Calafiori's second half goals. But does not really tell the whole story of what has unfolded here in a really controversial, feisty encounter in the Premier League. Both teams going down to 10 men. Wolves deservedly so. Arsenal definitely not deservedly so. And we'll get onto that in a minute with Lewis-Skelly and that sending off just before half time. But this was a really important win for Arsenal, and you could see what it meant to them at full time and the celebrations of the players, the fans, Mikel Arteta, the coaching staff. You know, they really had to grind it out. They played with 10 men for an awful long time. There was no Martin Odegaard again. He was ill again, dropping out this morning. Came last night with the team to the hotel. Spent the night at the hotel, but had to get sent back to London this morning. There was no Mikel Merino. He missed out. So it's a real threadbare team again. As these players have played so much football of late, and then having to play with 10 men for, the entirety of the second half, this was a real challenge for Arsenal when they got themselves over the line thanks to that Calafiori winner. And you could see what it meant from a full time. It was a really, really big win. But right, let's get on to the big moment, and shall we? The sending off from Lewis-Skelly. It happened just before half time. Arsenal being the better team in the first half. They'd largely dominated the game. They had some big chances. Kai Havertz had one header, went just wide. He had another header which he put straight at Sarr. Should have done better with. And they should have been in front going in half-time, but they weren't. Wolves, to be fair, had a good chance as well. I think it was João Gomez put one over on a counter-attack. But then the instant, just before half-time, Arsenal had a corner. It was cleared. Matt Doherty sort of, I think Trossard or someone lost it on the edge of the box, and Doherty nicked it off him, was running through inside his own half, 90 yards from goal. And Lewis-Skelly just did what you see time and time again, to stop a counter-attack. Just a quick tap of the foot, yellow card all day long, cynical foul, whatever you want to call it, but a yellow card all day long. You've seen them all the time. You'll continue to see them all the time. But, Michael Oliver, having to be the man, the centre of attention, sent him off. I didn't see a replay for a while, so it's hard to really comment on it. At first, I was like, he's surely not sent him off for denying a goal score opportunity when he's 90 yards from goal. You just cannot do that. But that's what it looked like at first. But then the Premier League tweeted, the Premier League Match Centre tweeted after that saying that it was for serious foul play. So it was obviously for the foul and not for denying a goal scoring opportunity. And I hadn't seen a replay of it, so it was hard to comment. But I saw him at half time, and honestly, I was like, how can you possibly send someone off for that? You will not see it again. It was just one of those. You had a fraction of a second to think about it. Lewis-Skelly, as Doherty was racing clear, was like, I've got to stop him, not let him get away. Put his foot out, clip the ankles, bring him down. Yellow card. Lewis-Skelly's never expecting a red. He starts trotting off, waiting for a yellow. All the Arsenal players do, and suddenly Michael Oliver has to do what Michael Oliver seems to always have to do, especially here. He's got history of Arsenal at this stadium, of course, after sending off Gabriel Martinelli for those 2 yellow cards in the space of about 10 seconds. And he sent him off. And it was so bizarre. And I'll talk about it more in tomorrow's show when I'll look at it much more in depth, and I'll give my real sort of opinion on it. But it's just, it could have been such a huge decision that for Arsenal, such a costly decision. It wasn't, thankfully, in the end, but it could have been. And it's just not good enough from supposedly the top referee in this country as well, or certainly in the top 2 of the referees in this country. It's just not good enough. And we'll hear the usual suspects in the next 24 hours or so come out on Sky, your Mike Deans, your Dermot Gallaghers, and try and explain why it was the correct decision, which is just going to be, frankly, utter rubbish. And there'll be a few other of the usual suspects doing it as well, making up as they go along to try and explain why, by the letter of the law, it was the right decision. It's just not the right decision. It's never a red card in a million years. And you could see that. But to be fair to Arsenal, I think it kind of inspired them a little bit. I just think in the second half they played really, really well, especially in the start of the second half. It looked like Wolves were the team with 10 men and Arsenal were the team with the extra man. I think they came out with a bit of fire in their belly after what had happened, and they just played with real intensity at the start of the second half. And I think that really sort of helped them through. So when the Wolves had a player sent off, João Gomez, for a second yellow, which, by the way, the second challenge that he got the second yellow card for should have been a straight red if you're going by what Lewis-Skelly got sent off for, because it was miles worse, and yet he only got a second yellow. But when that happened, Arsenal already had the momentum behind them from that good start to the second half, and you felt that red card was going to potentially be pivotal, and that's how it turned out with Ricardo Calafiori scoring pretty soon after. What a great goal it was by Calafiori as well. Obviously back after, it's been a pretty tough time with him from the injuries in the last few weeks. You could see what it meant for him. It was a really tough finish. Arsenal missed some quite big chances in this game. Kai Havertz again wasn't his day in front of goal, missing big chances with his head. But this one for Calafiori, I think it was Havertz who challenged. The ball was sort of looping from high, and it bounced down to Calafiori, and he just left foot, half volley, managed to control it across Sarr into the far corner. It was a really, really lovely goal. Obviously, he scored a great goal at that season, and this was another from him. And you felt that Arsenal were going to go on and win the game from that point, get themselves in front. They did need David Raya to produce a good save when Aït-Nouri went through on the left-hand side, but he did that. You need to keep it to step up at times, and he did step up. And yeah, it was a really big win this for Arsenal. Definitely, you could see what it meant to them at full time as well. They've played an awful lot of football, this team, in the last 3 weeks or so, and having to play with 10 men for that long here, it was a real tough one for them. There was no Martin Odegaard. He's ill. Of course, he got sent home this morning. He did travel up with the team, but he got sent home this morning because he was ill at the team hotel. There was no Mikel Merino. So, these players had to go through it all again with 10 men for, the entirety of the second half. And you could see what it meant to him at full time. There was real sort of celebrations there. The players were over with the away fans. Mikel Arteta, the coaching staff, came out. They're really pumped up. You could really see what it meant to them. And yeah, it was a big win. I mean, Liverpool won comfortably against Ipswich, so any drop points for Arsenal here would have been really, really costly. So yeah, they got the job done, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, I'm sure we're going to hear plenty of fallout from what's gone on here today over the next 24 hours or so. We're heading down to see what Mikel Arteta's got to say in his press conference in a sec. And yeah, I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what he's got, how he approaches it. Does he bite his tongue? Does he just praise the players for what they did here today for grinding out the win, or does he really go for it? I hope he goes for it, because you can't be accepting that sort of decision. You can't. It could have been so costly. You can't accept that sort of decision. So I hope he says something. But yeah, anyway, let's go on to some player ratings. Okay, so David Raya, like I said, he made a good save from Cunha. I think this was at 0-0, and Cunha's shot from the edge of the box took a deflection. Actually, straight from that corner, Cunha had a great chance to make it 1-0 Wolves that he put wide, so Arsenal got away with one there. Then he made a good save from Aït-Nouri as well, and that was at 1-0. So he didn't have much to do at all, Raya, in the game, but when he was called into action, he made 2 big saves. So I gave him 7 out of 10. During Timber, I gave a 6. I thought it was good, if not spectacular showing from Timber. Nice to see him get on the overlap a little bit more at times, but he was getting a real kick in today. He's going to be battered and bruised. He's going to be limping around, I imagine, tomorrow during Timber. Wolves seem to target him, but I thought he did fine, so I gave him a 6. Saliba I gave an 8. Back in the side, just as good as he always is. Just won absolutely everything. Saliba, the amount of time a Wolves player would get through, and you think they've got a sort of half chance, and then Saliba would just come out with the ball. I thought he was imperious once again, William Saliba, so I gave him an 8. Gabriel, I gave a 7. He had a good chance, actually, Gabriel, at the start of the second half from, I think it was Declan Rice, sort of whipped a ball in, and Gabriel was there at the back post. It was a tough finish for a defender, especially, but it was on his left foot, but he just got it wrong and sort of almost ended up cutting the ball back rather than having a shot at goal. But it's a good, solid performance defensively from Gabriel. I gave him a 7. Lewis-Skelly, I gave a 6. It's like, how do you mark Lewis-Skelly? Because I thought he played well in that first half. Really well, and it was not a red card. He was really harshly judged, so I can't mark him down for getting sent off and doing something stupid, because it wasn't something stupid. It was just a yellow card that you take for the team all day long, that for some reason Michael Oliver decided to punish him with a red. So I gave him 6 out of 10 anyway. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Right, moving into the midfield now. Thomas Partey kept the ball moving. Solid enough display from Partey in the heart of midfield. Thought he did well. Gave him a 6. Declan Rice. Thought it was a really good performance from Declan Rice. He just driving forward constantly in that number 8 role. There was no Martin Odegaard today, of course, so he had to do pretty much everything in those advanced roles. Ranieri started in the first half. Wasn't really in the game before being replaced at second half. So Rice was very much the guy having to make things happen from those sort of, in terms of the attack from those midfield positions. He just did not stop working, Declan Rice. He was everywhere. He went close with that shot that Sarr tipped over at the start of the second half. So it's a sort of coin toss for me, a toss-up in terms of who was man of the match out of Saliba and Declan Rice, but I gave the pair of them an 8. Ethan Nwaneri, like I said, in for Martin Odegaard. Odegaard missing out due to illness. Thought he played well. I thought he was pretty quiet. Nwaneri just wasn't. He was kind of on the fringes of things in that first half. A couple of nice touches, but always on the fringes of things. And he got replaced at half-time after the red card. So I gave him a 6. In terms of the attack, Gabriel Martinelli, I thought, was Arsenal's liveliest forward. biggest threat when he got on the ball, was driving forwards, tried to set up a really good chance for Havertz. When Havertz had his header saved in the first half, I gave him a 7. Havertz just not his day in front of goal. Havertz, all his chances fell to his head. 2 in the first half, 1 in the second. He only got 1 on target, and that one he put straight at Sarr's legs. You know, he could easily walked away with a couple of goals today. Havertz, it's not going to do much for those who are pushing for Arsenal to get themselves a new striker to replace Guy Havertz. I gave Havertz a 5. I didn't think it was his day at all, really. Kept falling over, and which was annoying me as well. Like he was trying to sort of back in and win fouls, but they were just not fouls, and he kept ending up on the floor, and Wolves were coming away with the ball. Trossard, I gave a 6. Put in a nice early ball for Havertz, and one that he headed wide in the first half. Worked hard, never really got a sniff of goal, Trossard, but he put in, you know, it was a decent shift from him under the circumstances. 2 subs that came on. Obviously, Calafiori was the big one, scored the goal. I gave him a 7. Thought he played well, Calafiori. You know, a little bit rusty still, not surprising when he's in the ball defensively, but what a finish that was. So I gave him a 7. Tierney came on literally for the last couple of minutes, playing in that left wing role that we've seen him suddenly adopt in Arsenal's lack of attackers at the moment. So I'm not going to give him a mark. In terms of Mikel Arteta, I gave him a 7 out of 10. I like the fact that he kept on all his main attackers at half time. You know, there was no bringing off an attacker, bringing off a winger, you know, a Martinelli or a Trossard, and putting on an extra defender for after the red card. It was Nwaneri who went off it from midfield, and Calafiori coming on. I thought that was the right decision, and I thought that meant that Arsenal started the second half still on the front foot and got that momentum, which was really important. Obviously made the sub, brought on Calafiori, and he scored the goal as well. So I gave Arteta a 7 out of 10. Right, that's it from my ratings and my immediate post-match review. As usual, I'll be back on tomorrow to do the more in-depth reaction show. I'm sure lots of you got lots to say about what you saw here today, especially the decisions of Michael Oliver. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll pull some of them together and get them included in tomorrow's show. But from Molineux, it is finished here. Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.